Well, hello. Um, I just wanted to say hello. Identity Middle School Ministry is trying to do all kinds of new and different things right now during this time when we can't actually meet. And today we did a virtual tea party. And here's my little cup with our little tea party that we did, and it was so much fun. Um, Hopefully everybody is doing well. One of the things that I shared with them that I wanted to share with you was a story that I got off of the internet, and but I think it's kind of cute, so I wanted to share it with you. So there was a couple who used to go to England to shop at the beautiful stores. They both liked antiques and pottery, and especially teacups. This was their 25th wedding anniversary. One day, this beautiful shop, they saw a beautiful little cup, and they said, "May we see that? We've never seen one quite so beautiful." And the lady handed it to them, and suddenly the little teacup spoke up, and it said, "You don't understand. I haven't always been a teacup. There was a time when I was red and I was clay, and my master took me and rolled me and patted me over and over and I yelled out loud, 'Leave me alone.' But he only smiled and said, 'Not yet.' Then I was placed on a spinning wheel," the cup said, "and suddenly I was spun around and around and around. 'Stop it,' I said. 'I'm getting dizzy,' I screamed. But the master only nodded and said, 'Not yet.' Then he put me in the oven, and I never felt so much heat," the teacup said. "I wondered why he wanted to burn me, and I yelled and I knocked at the door, and I could see him through the opening, and I could read his lips, and he shook his head, and he said, 'Not yet.' Finally the door opened, he put me on the shelf, and I began to cool. 'There, that's better,' I said. But he brushed me and he painted me all over, and the fumes were horrible, and I thought I would gag, and I said, 'Stop it,' I cried. He only nodded, 'Not yet.' Then suddenly he put me back into the oven, not like the first one. This one was twice as hot, and I knew I would suffocate. I begged and I pleaded, I screamed, I cried. All the time I could see him through the opening, nodding his head and saying, 'Not yet.' Then I knew there wasn't any hope. I would never make it. I was ready to give up. But the door opened, and he took me out, and he placed me on the shelf. 1 hour later, he handed me a mirror, and he said, 'Look at yourself.' And I did, and I could not believe my eyes. I was beautiful. And then the master potter said to me, 'I wanted you to remember. I know it hurts to be rolled and patted, but if I had left you alone, you would have dried up. I know it made you dizzy to spin around and around on the wheel, but if I had stopped, you would have crumbled. I knew it hurt and was hot and disagreeable in the oven, but if I hadn't put you in there, you would have cracked. I know the fumes were bad when I brushed and painted you all over, but if I hadn't done that, you never would have hardened. You would not have had any color in your life. And if I hadn't put you back in that 7-second oven, you wouldn't survive for very long because the hardness would not have held. Now you are a finished product. You are what I had in mind when I first began with you." This story reminds us of Jeremiah and the verses that are listed there, and I wanted to share those with you as well. In Jeremiah 18:1-6, it says, "The word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, 'Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I shall announce my words to you.' And then I went down to the potter's house, and there he was, making something on the wheel. But the vessel that he was making of clay was spoiled in the hand of the potter. So he remade it into another vessel, as it pleased the potter to make. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, 'Can I not, O house of Israel, deal with you as the potter does, declares the Lord? Behold, Like the clay in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand. God knows what He's doing. He is the potter and we are the clay. He will mold us and make us, and we may not like it. And we may get impatient, but it still holds true that He is working. Please don't forget that today. Thanks.